Hello everyone, my name is Elijah, you can call me Lay, and welcome back to another episode of A Little Atypical. To start off, because I was actually prepared, because I was just like, how could you do a New Year's prep episode without actually prepping? So, I digress. When I did a tarot card pull, I actually used the randomizer, and funny enough, we got the Fool card, which means beginnings, freedom, innocence, originality, adventure, idealism, spontaneousness. Because it's the first card of the tarot deck, that's why it really represents the start of the beginning of a new journey, one filled with like optimism, freedom. There's a lot of innocence to it. I just found that so fitting because this is something I never really say to other than one person, to be honest. I never said this to anyone else, but sometimes I can feel when I'm going through changes. And right now, I feel like I'm just going through a major shift. And I don't know how to explain it, but this is the most comfortable with myself I've ever felt. And it's like great, but it's also kind of like horrifying. It kind of ties into what I'm grateful for because what I originally wrote, what I'm grateful for, is my growth and confidence. Because in the past, I held myself back a lot, and I feel like I'm no longer attached to that version of me, which sometimes kind of leads to this dysmorphia. It's like sometimes I see myself and I catch myself hyping myself up and like doing things and supporting myself. And it's just so new to me. Even if I've been doing it for months, it just feels like very new to me. And I don't know how else to explain that. But I'm so grateful that I'm finally moving forward and I finally feel like there has been growth. Even if the results aren't here yet, I have faith that what I'm working towards, it will happen. But I can just genuinely feel the growth and it just feels amazing. Our good experience of the week is I've been getting a lot more support on what I've been working on, which is obviously my content. My learning experience of this week was that I need to stop looking for the outcome so much because it's so ironic. The reason I say that is I realized this week because I've been gaining so much support that it felt good to see the support because I don't necessarily have a strong support system. And I feel like I've been looking for that support so much every time after I post. But after like noticing that and how it's like slowing down my progress, I'm so behind on certain aspects of content. Like I need to put up like 2 blog posts this week. I posted a video late, but in my defense, that one wasn't my fault because I started uploading the video at 2:30. 1 something, it finished uploading. And it was crazy because the thing is, I don't want to like overdo my computer. So that's why I didn't like record and I was just like working on my prep. I realized that it made me fall out of a pattern and I'm getting like way too into trying to do this perfectly and I'm kind of falling into a perfectionist trap in order to see more growth. But since I noticed and I caught myself doing it, I'm just going to try to like go with the flow more. As you can tell from the title, like I said, we're going to be doing a New Year's prep. And the inspiration behind this is really my YouTube channel. I've been adapting my content to speak more about like lifestyle design. And even though I try not to get too personal in the lifestyle videos, but I've been practicing getting a lot more comfortable talking about like things I'm doing, my life and everything like that. So I thought today it would be a good idea to have like a chill podcast episode and kind of share a checklist for the new year because I feel like New Year's is like that time. It's like my favorite holiday. I know some people go all out and have like New Year's parties and things like that, But New Year's for me has always been just like a calm night, self care night. Going into New Year's, I did like the 12 grapes thing last year. I don't necessarily know how much change I really saw this year with that, but I do want to try again because I feel like I'm at a point with no restrictions. I feel like the results, if I did like the 12 grape things again, that it would be different. So I thought this was a cute idea. And I know sometimes, like around the holidays, you're overwhelmed with family, or like sometimes you're just like getting out of school and then you go home and you're kind of bored if you're in college. I don't really remember how I felt during high school. Without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I wrote down was to do a year review reflection. So, in what ways did you grow this year? What experience brought you joy? What habits you want to bring with you into the new year? Who made your year enjoyable? What drained your energy? What areas of life really shined this year? Do those areas have a strong enough foundation that you don't need to put that much effort in anymore? Etc., etc. Second thing I put on this list is to script out a vision and create a vision board. And I have an entire process for this dedicated on my YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, then just check it out because I've been putting in a lot of work and a lot of research. So I don't have a lot to say about this, but definitely do it. And I really have a very unique way of setting a vision board process. But in the time management video that I just dropped today, it had even more ideas for your vision and scripting. So yeah. Next is developing your systems and routines. Self-explanatory, but it's better to start as early as possible so you can see where you're having resistance and then figure out a way around it. Next is physically decluttering. This includes getting rid of old clothes either by selling or donating, shredding papers, cleaning out your purses, wallets, backpacks, doing a product dump for expired things, cleaning your cupboards and pantries, and just overall cleaning places that you don't usually clean and that sometimes like maybe not as on your radar as like regular chores. Next thing is doing a digital declutter, which means deleting emails, deleting random notes, organizing pictures into folders, backing up files on like flash drives or hard drives, unfollowing or blocking people who are haters and who destroys your peace. And I also said like sorting your apps would be a good idea, and I think it could be fun. Moving on, the next thing on your checklist is to add something new to your room or rearrange your furniture if you don't have the money. This is all about kind of like changing up the energy in the room. And I think a lot of times this may be easy to do, especially with Christmas. Sometimes people get decorations. But if not, just shift around your furniture and see how you feel about it. If it feels like more comfortable, I think it just brings new energy. So if you want to feel like different and like shift your environment a little, you should do that. And then I have like very specific things down. So if you want to do more in 2024, my suggestion to you is to make a 2024 bingo. And you can do this either for the entire year, for seasons, for 12 weeks, or you can do it monthly. If you're the opposite and want to do less, make an elimination list and set stronger boundaries. This one, again, very self-explanatory. But sometimes for some people, doing less is the best thing they can do for their self-care. Next thing is setting up your planners and trackers for the new year. So I haven't fully set up for my routine planner yet, but I want to start developing my planners for the new year because I've always left that up to chance. But since I did test out my fitness journal and how it helped me to be a bit consistent, I kind of want to like apply the same science and ideas to design another journal that's for like everyday routine. Take a break from social media. I think in general, this is like one of the healthiest things a person should do. I think the holiday times is very demanding, and it's so easy, especially nowadays, to kind of like slip away from being present. And I feel like you should just kind of soak it up and enjoy the moment, at least once during this holiday season. Next thing is look for a challenge to try. I always thought like the people who like start a challenge, whether it's like a reading challenge, like they read for 30 days, or they do a fitness challenge to help them. I always think those things are really cool because it does help a person build consistency. And I just think it's a like fun way to do it, to turn it into a game. Next thing is decide something you want to learn in the new year. One thing I suggest is like learning the history of people who have different backgrounds than you, because I feel like this is something that can help people become more empathetic. Other ideas outside of that include learning a new language, learning a crafty skill, learning a beauty skill, learning an artistic skill, learning a physical skill, and so on. Next thing on the list is to evaluate your relationships. Do not take toxic relationships with you in 2024. Stand on business. Literally. If a person is in a category where it's not really them, but you recognize that you're changing, you don't necessarily have to cut them out unless they're doing something like actively wrong that really is just like you can't manage it. You can just like limit your contact with them if you can, and if there's someone you can't avoid, like keep the communication to a bare minimum. Next thing is to review your finances. This is important to get your receipts together so you can start preparing to do your taxes if you're an adult. And also, in general, you should be reviewing your finances to help you create a budget for the year to come. Next is taking a look at your unfinished projects. This could be like unfinished books, like any unfinished activity if you were in the middle of making something. So this, you can revisit them so you can feel like you finished something before the new year start, or maybe it's something you don't necessarily want to bring into the new year with you. You either like get rid of it or something. Next thing specifically is for entrepreneurs, content creators, business owners, etc., which is set a plan for your, I guess, avenue of what you're known for. Like if you're a content creator, it makes sense to start planning out your post, especially in January and for the early months to come that may be like busier. I think it's just a good idea to treat it as if you're treating your actual job, but better. Next is spend time with loved ones. This is a suggestion if you are longing for connection and stuff like that specifically. Next on the checklist, have a self-care day. This is because for some people, they very much struggle with seasonal depression. And even though I don't personally struggle with feeling as blue in the winter, I actually consider winter one of my more productive, motivated times for some reason. It's just kind of how I am. It's kind of the reason I called the show like a little atypical, because I feel like I'm so opposite than what the majority believes or thinks. Like, not in everything, but like in like the most random harmless things like this. Self-care is necessary, and I think everyone should be doing what they need to feel good. I'm going to make a list of self-care ideas in a few weeks, but until then, do what you can to relax. Next thing is to book appointments and checkups. So I meant this both in the terms of aesthetics and health. If it's for health, just definitely do it. I think it's always good to check in with your doctors, especially if you haven't did a physical with your medical doctor. But also, if you can afford to do like hair appointments, nail appointments, brow appointments, etc., etc., I think really go for changing up your look if that's what you want to do. Because there's something about it, because even when I was in high school, when I think that's another reason I really loved the New Year season, because I always had my hair done, nails done, and eyebrows done, and I loved the process of planning like my whole new look, and it felt like an identity change, because I always joke like there's 3 types of glow ups. So there's like editing, which is like when you like glow up and it's like something you change overnight and it's like super easy and quick. And then the next one is like transforming, like it still looks like you, but just like a higher version of you. And then there's complete identity changes where people just, if I saw you on the street, I would not recognize you type vibe. I made that joke on TikTok, so if you ever hear it outside of that, just know they probably got it from me. The next thing is to start drafting seasonal bucket lists and ideas of ways you want to celebrate like the holidays, the upcoming holidays, because this is just a kind of thing that it just relates to the process of romanticizing. Because something I dislike about my personal life is that I feel like I don't appreciate the holidays enough and the seasons enough. And I really want to make an effort in this upcoming year to really like plan like my spring and celebrate spring, and plan like the holidays that show up, and not just feel like, oh, it's just another day. Because I feel like those little moments are like things that you want to remember, and maybe like it could become a tradition if I needed it to. I think this is something very important to do before the new year, especially if you come from a family that don't already have like traditions set, or if you're starting a family and you're in the position to make your own. So important. Last but not least, express gratitude. Express gratitude for the things you have, the things you had the opportunity to experience, and the things that are yet to come but on their way. So that was my little like New Year's prep guide. And for your homework, just do one of these tasks from the checklist and see where it leads. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening. And I'm sorry if this episode seems so short and rushed. Honestly, I'm just kind of tired, and I kind of wanted this episode to be just kind of chill, especially with the time I'm filming. Everything just sounds so loud. I will see you next time. Don't forget to follow, rate, and review if you're on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And leave a comment if there's anything you want to hear. Okay, so have a good day, evening, or night, and I hope you stay inspired. Bye!